One of the things that really works for me is just a quick meditation in the morning. I would say a 5-minute meditation, but for those of you that meditate, especially those of you that are new to the practice, 5-minute meditation, 5 minutes is a long time to meditate. So if you can get in a 2 or a 3-minute meditation, that's something that helps fill your cup, so to speak. That's just time with yourself. Welcome to All Can, No Can't, the podcast where we toss out excuses, face our fears, and reclaim control. I'm Jeff Luther, your guide to mastering the chaos and turning obstacles into opportunities. Whether you're an entrepreneur navigating the ups and the downs of building a successful business, or someone ready to rewrite the rules of your life, this is your space to grow, to push boundaries, and to embrace doing the hard shit that leads to greatness. Together, we'll explore stories of resilience, strategies for overcoming, and the mindset shifts that let you build a life on your terms. I use my experience with a life-altering diagnosis to help you find the can in every can't. So buckle up, because it's time to stop living in can't and start thriving in all can. You choose. Hey friends, welcome back to All Can, No Can't, where we turn obstacles into opportunities, even if it's just one small step at a time. I'm your host, Jeff Luther, and today I want to talk about something that I know is going to hit home for a lot of us. Filling your cup before you try to pour into anyone else's. We've got a family. Most of us are entrepreneurs, own a business. We have a spouse, a partner, a significant other, a million priorities, or at least we tell ourselves that we have a million priorities. Somewhere in there, we're supposed to do things for ourselves, have time for ourselves, something for you, what's called self-care. And I'll talk a little more about that. But I'm going to share why making space for yourself isn't selfish. It's survival. It's critical. It's the opposite of selfish. It's selfless. I'll tell you how I do it in my own life, how it's made me a better dad, for sure, a better leader, a better entrepreneur, a better coach, a better mentor, and maybe a better partner. And then I'll talk about how you can carve out enough time to refill your tank so you can show up fully in other areas of your life. So if you've been running on empty, or feel like you're running on empty, you feel like there's not enough time, you feel like you're stretched too thin, then this episode is your pit stop. This is a rest, so buckle up. If you're like most of us, you're juggling like 94 and a half things: work, spouse, kids, clients, inbox. Oh my gosh, I just got my inbox cleaned up. Your dog, the dog that needs to go to the vet. Like for me, I need a part for my boat motor, and I've been putting it off. And every time I see my boat sitting there, it's been sitting there for a large portion of the summer. Every time I see it sitting there, it gives me anxiety. But we're pouring ourselves kind of into everyone else. Here's the thing, and I know this is cliche, but you think about an empty cup. If your cup is empty, you cannot pour. So in this episode, we'll talk about sharing why filling our own cup first is not selfish. It's the only way to actually show up for other people and show up for other priorities, things that matter more. And also how you can start doing it today without feeling guilty. And not even necessarily a blueprint or a time block or anything like that, but the mental piece of doing it, just the mental part of being okay with it. So all of us have been there. We're running late. Maybe during the week we've started missing workouts. We're snapping at people that are close to us. We're feeling drained. It's normal. We're exhausted, but we're still saying yes to that one more thing. We're still saying yes to crap. For me, this just happened yesterday. One of my big things at my house, I have 3 boys. 2 of them live with me full time. One is still a minor, and he goes back and forth between me and his mother. He's here a lot, but the 2 older ones are with me full time. So making dinner is a priority for me. Every night I like to make dinner. And it becomes a lot, especially on days where I have a lot going on, a lot on my plate. So last night was one of those nights. I had waited and waited and waited. I got my workout done in the morning yesterday, so that was good. I didn't have that hanging over me. But when it came dinner time, I was rushing around trying to figure out what to do for dinner. So, like, I feel like the grocery store is a daily routine for me. I got to get better about that. But I hopped in my truck to run to the grocery store to get stuff for dinner. And on the way there, I was like, man, I don't really feel like making dinner. But I kept going because that's kind of what I do. That's important, and the kids and my boys count on it. So then I wasn't really committed. I just went to get something just to put on a plate to get me through it. And dinner wasn't that great. So dinner wasn't that great. That made me feel kind of under accomplished, or it disappointed me. And I set myself up for failure. I kind of ran the day too thin, and then set myself up for failure there at the end of the day for expectations around dinner. It just, order something. Uber Eats, go pick something up. Would have been a much better result. So the myth is that when we put ourselves first, it's selfish. Like that myth, I thought, well, if I don't cook dinner, then that's selfish of me. That's lazy, because this is something that people rely on, which is just not true. That's just a story I tell myself. When we put ourselves first, it can kind of considered to be an act of service. I don't agree necessarily with the term self-care. I think really, at least in my case, I think really what we're trying to do is avoid overexertion in the opposite direction, stretching ourselves too thin. I don't think we necessarily need self-care. I don't need to stop and go get a massage. I don't need that. But what I do need to do is give myself the space for that. What I do need to do is not stretch myself so thin. And then we've heard the analogy about the airplane mask. They even tell you when you fly, put the mask on yourself first, because if you're running out of oxygen, how are you going to help the person next to you? So put the mask on yourself first. If you pass out, then nobody else can get help. And I do know for certain when I'm what I'll call fulfilled, I'm calmer, I'm more patient, I am kinder, I'm more self-aware, I'm more fun to be around for sure, and I'm more fun just for myself. And when I'm stretched too thin, I can feel it. I feel the weight, and that weight gets heavy. But full to me is not about doing things for myself, and that's why I disagree with that term self-care kind of. Full to me is not about doing for myself or getting something for myself. Full to me is getting fulfillment. And here's a great example. My middle son just sold a car. That was his car. So cars are a thing around the frat house here. He just sold his car, so now he's without a car, but he's actively trying to find one. He wanted to sell his first before he started looking really hard. So he sold it. Now he's actively looking for a car. There's no way I could care any less about this whole car thing. Cars at my house are horrible. They're constantly working on them. There's crap breaking. There's parts everywhere. But he's actively looking for a car, and he wants me to be involved. So he's showing me pictures, showing me the stuff he finds on Facebook Marketplace. And I don't care. Yet, I get fulfillment from him wanting to share with me. Okay? So I don't care about the car, but the fact that he wants to share with me and wants me to be involved, that's fulfilling to me. So I have started a practice of slowing down and I tell myself these words. I tell myself, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. So when he starts showing me cars and this bullshit that I don't care about, I'm already on to the next thing. I have stuff I've got to do, stuff that's important. So I can tell myself I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And then I can slow down, and then I can listen, and I can look at his stupid cars, and it is so amazing. It's so fulfilling. And he may be doing it just to make me feel good. He may be doing it just to make me think that he wants me to be involved, but it's amazing. And just to have that quick connection with him is so fulfilling. So when I slow down and I listen to those that I care about instead of getting out in the future and not being present, that satisfies me. That's fulfillment for me. That is how I fill my cup. And there's a lot of just practical ways that we can do that. One of the things that really works for me is just a quick meditation in the morning. I would say a 5-minute meditation, but for those of you that meditate, especially those of you that are new to the practice, 5-minute meditation, 5 minutes is a long time to meditate. So if you can get in a 2 or a 3-minute meditation, that's something that helps fill your cup, so to speak. That's just time with yourself. I get up at 5:30 every morning, unless of course, like I'm on vacation or I'm in with friends or there's something circumstantial, but I get up at 5:30 every morning. I started doing it. I started this so that I could fit all this bullshit in the morning that I thought I had to do. I thought I had to stretch. I thought I had to pray. I thought I had to meditate. I thought I had to read. I thought I had to journal. And it became like it was over an hour every morning doing all this stuff. And I was like, I don't enjoy this. So now I get up early every morning just to fit in something for the day that I might not be able to do otherwise. And I did a previous podcast episode about this, falling in love with your morning. People talk about these big morning routines, and then I plunge pool, and then I go to the ocean, then I swim 56 miles, then I row a boat back, and then I save turtles on the beach, and I do all this before my first cup of coffee because I don't want the chemicals that coffee gives me or whatever it is. It's just too much stuff. And by that time, it's already 6 o'clock at night and I got to go do this whole stupid dinner rush again. So I pared that down and I get up early in the mornings. I get up before anybody else is up, and then I can fit things in that I want to do for me, things that are important to me. Sometimes I get up and I just sit with my dog. I will literally sit in the floor with my dog for, like 15 or 20 minutes. And my dog is the love of my life. He's now getting on in years. He's got bad hips, a bad back. He doesn't hear well. He doesn't see well. It's kind of a nuisance, but I'll just sit with the dog and I love it and he loves it. But it gives me time to do the things I otherwise would feel guilty about doing during the day. If I read during the day, I feel a little bit guilty. If I journal during the day, I feel a little bit guilty. Some people may take issue with that, like isn't that the point of self-care? But if I can do those things early in the morning and avoid that guilt, then that works for me. That's part of my fulfillment, is avoiding that guilt, getting those things done. Even just taking a morning walk without my phone. Now, I'm not a big phone person. I'm not on it a whole lot, but I do feel attached to it. I feel connected to it. So just doing that gives me permission to not be connected to my phone. It feels really good. A few deep breaths every morning, just a breathing exercise, like a box breathing exercise, 20 breaths or 2 minutes, whatever it might be. And then some bigger practices that we can do for our own self-fulfillment or fulfillment, or just for our own betterment. Working out for me, that is a non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable for me. And I'll stop right here and say people have asked me about that. They've asked me to do a talk on it, how I do it, how I stay motivated to do the things that some days I just don't feel like doing. Well, motivated is the key word right there. Some days I am not motivated. Some days I am motivated as fuck to not do these things. So here's a spoiler alert. What will be in the podcast is it's not motivation, it's habit. So when you create that habit, those become non-negotiable. And continuing that habit for me is fulfillment. That makes me feel good. Another thing that's fun is like a monthly, go to coffee. Take yourself to coffee. I love like a kid to ride my bike to the beach. I love to ride my bike over to the beach. I stop at Sullivan's Co-op. I get a frosé. I go to the beach, hang out, read. Sometimes I'll ride my bike up and down the beach. The last time I did it, I took Wyatt with me, my middle son. And you would think he's my favorite because I keep talking about him, but he's not. My youngest son, Knox, is my favorite. out of the 3, just so we're clear on that. And then lunch, taking yourself to lunch, I think that's more rewarding. Oh, but what I do at Sullivan's, so I'll do that, I'll ride on the beach, and then I'll have dinner on Sullivan's, and then I'll ride my bike back home. It's usually after dark, which is so cool. It's such a reward for me, and I can be at peace, and I can tell myself I'm right where I need to be. Taking myself to lunch is harder to do. That's why I think it's more rewarding. Take yourself to lunch once a month, every other month. Lunch is hard because a lot of times when we have that free time, we don't want to stop. We'd rather work. But just take yourself to lunch someplace, a nice place. Sit down and be intentional about having lunch. Don't be intentional about getting back to work on time. It's actually pretty liberating. I did a weekend getaway a while back. And this is funny. So I needed to get some podcast episodes done. I was going out of town. I was going to be out of touch for a while. So I knew that I needed to get these episodes done, and I had a time crunch and some interviews to do. So I said, okay, well, I've got to get these done in the next 2 days. And if I do that, then my reward is going to be a stay. There's a real fancy hotel downtown here, and my reward would have been a stay at that hotel for 2 nights. And I took Wyatt with me, who still is not my favorite kid, but that was my reward. I get the work done, and it was a lot of effort, but then I get that reward on the back end of that. I've also, another idea is I signed up for a daily email from a spa here. Every single morning, it's like 3 a.m. They'll send an automated email, just what slots are available for that day. Because me, the way I'm wired, if I plan to go get a massage, like I book it a week out, I'll end up canceling it because I feel guilty about it. Because I'll think about it and I'll stew over it. And I'm like, man, I don't need this. I don't deserve to get a massage. And then if one thing goes sideways in my week, then I feel like I really don't deserve it. So what I do is I look at those emails almost every morning. And if there's a time on there that fits and there's a service that I want and I feel like it, then I might go get a massage. I don't do it very often, but if I can get over the immediate purchase, then there's no time for me to have buyer's remorse. And then by the time the massage is over, I feel great, it was worth it, and I go on about my business. When you move past that guilt and give yourself the same permission that you would give somebody that you really care about, then your rewards are limitless. For your energy, your patience, your how you treat other people, and how you move through your next task or even your week, it makes a difference. I do these things myself. The biggest thing that I've done, and I'll invite you all to just give this a shot, is tell myself I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Even if any of you caught that episode about the girl in the coffee shop that took forever, if you can stop and say, okay, I'm right where I'm supposed to be, even when the lines are long, or even when you're inconvenienced, or when it's a nuisance, or sitting in traffic, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Now, in order to do these, we have to protect the time. That's the bitch of it, right? Even just recently did I start putting things on my calendar. So if you don't, you leave them open. Oh, I'll do this, and you leave your calendar open. Then you get blown up. Then you see openings in your calendar, and then you feel guilty if you don't respond to whatever fire it is you're supposed to be putting out. So I am giving every listener right now permission to put your own time on your calendar. Block it out. I've started blocking out my workout times. I've started blocking out my cool down times. I've blocked out my breakfast. I've blocked out my morning coffee. I've blocked those things on my calendar as permission. When I see them there, I'm going to do them. And then say no. Giving yourself permission to say no. People need help. I get it. And I'm always willing to help. At the same time, I don't want to do it at my own detriment. And that's something that we tend to forget in the heat of the moment, or in the thick of it, in the ask. And then it comes up later and we think about it later. All of these things, when you say no, you might be able to say yes to a spouse, a partner, a kid, a friend. all of these things tie back to their benefit as well. They get the best version of us, not the scraps. They get the best version of us when we're not spread out super thin. And I realized at one point about the coffee thing, you know, those of us that are maybe in sales or relationship building or entrepreneurs or business owners, we'll set up a ton of coffee dates, but I never once have set up a coffee date with my kids. We don't do it with the people that we're closest to that we already know. We do it bizarre, weirdly, oddly, however you want to phrase that, with people that we don't know. And coffee can take a lot of energy, a lot of time. But we continue to do it. So my challenge to you is to pick one thing to do this week that would, quote, fill your cup, using the symbology there. And I'll invite you to share it. Share it on social media, or you can even just message me directly and I'll share it for those of you that don't want to. But you might give somebody else an idea of something they can do to fill their cup. So that's it. That's your permission slip to stop running on empty. This week, just pick one thing to do for yourself, even if it's just 5 minutes of silence before the world wakes up. Get up a little bit earlier. And getting up a little earlier, it gets easier and easier, and it is amazing for me. Protect that time. Protect that time like you would a new client meeting or a new sales meeting, or your kid's little league game, or your girl's softball game. Because showing up for yourself is really, showing up for ourselves is really how we're going to show up for them. If this hits home or it resonates with you, share it with somebody who you think needs this reminder too. Maybe a friend, maybe somebody that's kind of burning the candle at both ends. And if you try one of these ideas, shoot me a message. Let me know. Tell me how you did. Tell me how it felt. I love hearing those things. Until next time, it's always all can, no can't. We're finding the opportunities and the obstacles. And I cannot wait to see you next time. Until then. Thanks for listening to All Can, No Can't. If today's episode resonated with you, remember, it's not about the chaos you face. It's about how you choose to take back control. It's about finding that one small can in the can't you're given and grinding it down. Find your angle, carve your place out in the world, and get the fucking win. Do that by finding what you can do and not listening to what you can't. You choose. Be sure to subscribe, share, and leave a review. Your support helps me reach more people that are ready to embrace the all-can mindset. And it lets them know there's someone that's willing to walk with them no matter how dark the path gets. You can find me on Insta at JDLuther 2.0 and allcan_no-can't. This is where I share more tips, stories, inspiration to help fuel your journey. And until next time, keep pushing boundaries, breaking limits, proving to yourself that anything is possible, even when you're told it isn't. Remember, life's not about can't. It's all can. Go prove them wrong.